Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another book recommendation video. This is going to be all of the sort of these are going to be like cinnamon roll heroes, like golden retriever kind of energy kind of heroes in romance books. Don't get me wrong, I love a good protective, overprotective, grumpy hero, but sometimes, so these are some of those recommendations. So the first book that I have to recommend is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a YA rom-com type book. It follows Bradley and Celine. Celine and Bradley are sort of like childhood best friends who become rivals after an argument that they have, and they become sort of rivals, academic rivals, but then one day they are in senior year, they're put in the same class and they get into an argument and end up getting sent to detention together where an accident happens and Celine ends up breaking her arm. Bradley feels so guilty that he agrees to drive her to this speaking note about a survival course that will potentially lead to a scholarship for university, and it's like their hijinks in the forest and getting to become friends again. Bradley is a total like golden retriever energy kind of boy. As soon as they get past their fight that ended up making their sort of, which happens fairly early in this book, he is just like wants to do like anything. He will do anything for Celine. He is just like such a cute hero. I don't know how else to describe him. It is YA, so like that's sort of what you're expecting when you're thinking of YA, that they're both just like super cute. But I don't know. Bradley is just like so like quintessentially golden retriever, cinnamon roll boy energy. And I definitely recommend this book. It's super cute as well. It's also, this entire book is sort of that energy. It's like cinnamon roll in a book form. Next book I have to recommend is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. I absolutely love all of Christina Lauren's romance books, but not a lot of them are like ooey gooey cinnamon roll heroes, but this one definitely is. Josh is a total like sweetheart. So this book follows Hazel, who is this very quirky, fun loving girl, like, or woman. She sort of flies by the seat of her pants. She owns like so many pets, so many exotic pets in this story, so she is just like such a fun character. Josh is sort of the complete opposite. He's very like down to earth, grounded, isn't like very animated of a person, but he's known Hazel since college. Hazel and his sister are best friends, and he's always sort of like thought of her as just like this, like almost like a spectacle to see. He just sort of thinks of her as like this like wild child rather than a friend. So he is sort of like judgmental a little bit at the beginning, but he's never thought that was a bad thing, that she's very quirky. He just always is, he's such a reserved guy that he's always just like, whoa. And she sort of put her foot in her mouth quite a few times while she's met Josh in the past, but after a sort of cheating ex-girlfriend, Hazel is such a breath of fresh air for him. She is exactly what he needs in his life to get him out of this reserved bubble that he's put himself in. Yeah, so they end up sort of becoming more friends because he becomes more friends with her, and they set up each other on blind dates, which become more and more ridiculous and less about actually finding dates for each other and more about just hanging out. And it's just, the rest is history. So this one is a really cute book. I definitely recommend it. And again, the entire vibes of this book are sort of like ooey gooey, lovey, like it's a really cute story. The next book I have is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is a very popular book. All of Emily Henry's books are very popular, and I would say almost all of her characters could fall into this category, but I think Alex is the most sort of ooey gooey cinnamon roll character, because the other ones sort of start off pretty grumpy, whereas Alex he's sort of like Josh from the last book I recommended, where he's very reserved, but it's not that he is like judgmental, he's just a very reserved person, and Poppy sort of takes him out of his shell. So I won't explain too much about this book because this is very popular and I think everybody knows or knows the concept of it, but they again are total opposites. Alex is like a khaki wearing reserved guy, and Poppy wears bright colors and is a very fun person to be around, and every year they take a vacation together, and this is sort of the story of all the different vacations up until 2 years ago, where they had a bit of a falling out and they haven't spoken in 2 years. But then Poppy is sort of going through a midlife crisis and decides she wants to go on another vacation and tries to see if Alex is interested in going with her again. And so they go on one more vacation together, and it sort of is a past and present timeline from previous vacations they've taken together to the sort of disastrous one they're on now. But yeah, I would say Alex and Poppy's dynamic is very similar to Josh and Hazel's, but Josh is just such a sweetheart. He would do absolutely anything for Poppy. He's a total simp for her. I don't use that word very often, but that's like the perfect way to describe Alex. And even when Poppy thinks they're just best friends, Alex would just do about anything for Poppy, even as best friends. So another cinnamon roll ooey gooey hero. The next book I have to recommend is Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I actually think Rachel Lynn Solomon is one of my all-time favorite authors, just like Emily Henry, and I love her books, but Russell is very much golden retriever energy. So this book follows Ari and Russell. Ari is a local TV weather our meteorologist, and she is having a bit of trouble at work because she really, like, her boss and mentor is like one of the most famous in all of Seattle. I think it takes place in Seattle. Her boss is like one of the most famous TV meteorologists, and she really wants the mentorship and advice from her boss, but she's not getting it, and so she sort of confides in Russell, who is the sports reporter, and his boss is Ari's boss's ex-husband. So they both sort of feel like they're not getting the mentorship they're looking for because both of them are too busy arguing all the time to give them mentorship. So Ari and Russell decide to team up and try and parent trap the ex-husband and wife, their bosses. We sort of try to parent trap their bosses back together and fix their relationship issues. But as they are fixing their relationship, they start falling for each other. Ari is another super sunshiny girl, but she has a bit of a secret, and so she starts confiding in Russell. This is also a single dad romance. Russell is a single dad, and I love that trope. That's a great trope, which is also in here. He is such a sweetheart. He's very reserved, another sort of reserved hero, but he just he's just exactly what you'd think of when you think of nice guy. He's the nice guy. And he's just super sweet. Every time Ari comes to complain, he just is there to listen. He is just such a genuine, nice guy. Really great cinnamon roll hero. Okay, and that's the end of this video. I have a few other ones, but I don't have a ton of like cinnamon roll kind of hero. I typically tend to gravitate towards more possessive, like men in romance books, and I think more romance books are written that way. So if you have any recommendations for cinnamon roll heroes or like golden retriever energy kind of heroes, let me know in the comments down below because I'd love to check them out. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.